Good evening, my name is Garrett, and welcome to The Last Call. Tonight's final drink is the Glenlivet 14, 40% ABV, obviously age stated 14 years, and the interesting thing is this is actually finished in Cognac casks. Now, more recently, I've been reviewing some sherry and cognac finishes, along with a cognac. I'll link some of those up above and below for you to enjoy after this. But the Glenlivet holds a special place in my heart. Glenlivet 12 was my very first scotch that I ever had. It was gifted to me by my brother. And from that point on, it was kind of an interesting spiral for me to really start trying things. And at first, I didn't care for Glenlivet. I was like, it's not for me. But it took time. I warmed up to it, and I love it since then. And Glenlivet's one of those fairly accessible brands out there that really does nowadays some interesting finishes. Referring to like the rum cask finish, the Caribbean rum cask. Great option there. Then they also have a 15-year-old French oak that I haven't got to try yet, but I plan on it. So as always, we're going to be trying this two different ways. First way, you're going to neat, no ice, no water. Second way, we'll add a couple drops of water, see what changes up. The classic Glenlivet bottle looks so cool. I just got to make that comment real quick. I love the little bubbled neck here. It just has that very distinguished look with their seal on the front. I don't know. It's just one of those bottles that I see this on a shelf and I'm like, okay, which Glenlivet is it? Just one of those cool things. Oh, I can already smell it out of the bottle. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful color on there. Kind of reminds me, actually, I more recently did the Macallan 12 Sherry cask. Very similar color, probably a little lighter, if anything, but super, super brown golden color to it. So let's go for notes. Very sweet on the nose. The ABV really doesn't show up at all. It reminds me of a sherry cask, giving you those fruit notes that, and obviously cognac, sherry, are going to give you similar notes in those styles. I get a little bit lighter fruits, but you do get a little bit heavier fruits in there too. Almost, you get both dark, like a plum, but then you get super light, like grapes and like white grape, and you get kind of the in between of a cherry. Very sweet, juicy fruits. Not the gum. Get a little bit of sweetness in there, but it's mainly just beautiful, beautiful fruit basket notes. A little bit of orange. A little bit of orange zest in there. I mean, it just smells like a lovely glass of fruit. A little bit of vanilla sweetness in there as well. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Let's go for taste. It drinks so beautifully. ABV shows up a little bit, but that fruit note, it's like just a super, super, not quite as decadent as it might sound, but just beautiful, beautiful fruit notes. That cherry is just like a fresh, tart cherry mixed in with this beautiful, beautiful dark plum note. That bit of sweetness is coming through. You get a little bit of oak in there, but it finishes like just a beautiful fruit basket note of grape and orange, cherries. So you get a little bit of that oak in there. So it would be almost like the Hawaiian punch to me of scotches. A little almond going on as well. I remember kind of referencing almond liqueur at that point. Diomore, which is a very inexpensive almond liqueur. giving me very similar vibes to that. That almond nuttiness is going on. Beautiful in the finish. That's where it tends you find that nuttiness, that almond flavor is in that finish. But it's well rounded. The fruit's kind of tapered off at this point, left you with this nutty, dry finish. Yeah. That finish in the cognac casks really just elevates us to a different level. Let's add a bit of water, see what changes up. Yeah, more recently, I had the rum cask finished one, and I love it because I'm a huge rum fan. But this cognac finished one is so good. My wife loves amaretto, so she tried this and got very similar vibes with the amaretto notes. Let's go for this. Oh, wow. That fruit dialed up to like an 11. That beautiful white grape note, that zesty orange. The ABV is still not apparent. You don't really get any oak anymore. Just beautiful, beautiful fruit notes going on. Just mixed fruit all day, every day. Little bit of spice in there as well. Still get a bit of spice in this, so I don't think I called that one out. You do get a bit of spice in both of them. Let's go for taste. Got a creaminess note going on now. Definitely ABV is almost non-existent on the taste. Fruit notes are actually a little lighter. They're not quite as heavy. You don't get as much of those darker fruit notes. Overall, very light on that. I would gauge everything up a bit. So I'm getting more lighter fruits. I'm getting more of that orange zest. I'm getting more that white grape note. Still get a bit of that amaretto note, that almond punch there at the end. Finish it cuts off a little quicker. Still get a bit of that spice note in there too. A little drier on the finish, I feel like. Yeah. Pretty decent with a little bit of water in there. Definitely, I think needs a better option on this. As always, it doesn't matter what you drink or how you drink it, as long as you enjoy it. But that the darker fruit note balance with this one pops a little bit more. That finish is a little bit longer with it as neat as well. But still a pretty good option. Yeah. So, let's talk about market price. Because, as we all know, market price is market price. I was able to pick this up for $47 locally. I've seen it as low as like $43, $45. I've seen it as high as in the 60s. Like mid-range $60. You know, like 63, 65. I don't think that's a bad buy. It's 14 years old. Being finished in the cognac casks are two very interesting things. Glenlivet, again, is pretty accessible for the most part. I know most, at least in my parts, maybe not the 14 is as accessible, but the 12 is. And if you can convince your owner, if they can get the 12, they could probably get the 14. But I still think this is a pretty good bottle anywhere between that price range. Obviously, the cheaper the better. But I paid $57 for it, and I would have no problem paying that again. I think it's a great example of what a cognac finish can do to a scotch, and it really carries those notes very, very well. So yeah, there you go. The Glenlivet 14 cognac finished. If you have any questions about the bottle, let me know down in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer them. Also, if you have any specific bottles you would like me to review, also let me know down below as well. I'm always on the hunt for something fun and different to try to taste. And as always, may your last drink of the night be the best one.
You know, and I really like it might